This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by the Bahamas Football Association, Burger King, the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival, City of Hope, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Muffler World, Nassau Cruise Port, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, Pinder Tile, Print Masters, Sandcastle Bahamas, Tropical Gyros, and the Water and Sewage Corporation.
I'm bored, so I'm taking my time on my ride. Taking my time on my ride. I die for you, that's easy to say. We have a list of people that we would take. For them, for you, for everybody in this room. But they don't seem to see many coming through. See many coming through. Metaphorically, I'm the man. But literally, I don't know what I do. I live for you, and that's hard to do. Even harder to say when you know it's not true. Even harder to write when you know that there were people back home which are talking to you. But then you ignore them still. All these questions, they're for real. Like, who would you live for? Who would you die for? And would you ever? I'm bored, so I'm taking my time on my ride.
You've got it locked and loaded to the Friday, May 30th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with Mary Jane in your company right up until 6 p.m. on this Friday edition. MJ, what's good?
It's all good. Last weekend in May, first weekend June, sort of. Well,
right,
yeah.
It's one of them Trina kind of months. You go to sleep on Friday, Friday or Saturday, you wake up in June on Sunday.
And I'm getting like those people that are saying like time is flying by so quickly. It's like June.
That's the running joke with Mr. Producer. Like the months are not, they don't linger anymore. Like
they feel like weeks now.
The months show up in the first part of the month. Hey, how you doing with the first week? And the next time you see me, hey, it's the last week. We'll see you later.
Right, just a blur.
Everything in between is like this. Boom, done. But boy, I tell you, that's why we got a great, week in review show every Friday, because we can look back on the last week, the past week, and boy, we got a lot to talk about, and tongues are wagging everywhere. If it's not one thing, it's the other. Obviously, the big elephant the biggest elephant in the room, the budget.
It's an elephant.
What would you call it? A whale?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, so the whale in the room. Then you got the elephant in the room, which is, when was the actual, that was 2 Thursdays ago?
That what happened?
The Lukaya fanfare. It's been going on 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks.
No word. Nada. Zero.
The individual budget presentations. I'm expecting to hear from the minister, for Grand Bahama, because the prime minister did highlight her during that celebration ceremony.
That fest.
It's the one who put it together. So if you put it together,
you got to talk about it.
Get it together.
What'd you say? You go walk the walk. You got to talk the talk.
Get it together, and come give us these details, because we're waiting to see that. Of course, there's so much about the budget that we can talk about. We got to take that in like little bites and chunks, And
then you still got to look at the crime situation.
Yeah.
Still got to look at news from abroad from the Southern District. Plea bargains.
I saw something in the paper about that.
We talked about it months ago on this show. If you see a trial being held in that situation, you got to see how much the canary can sing. Now, when you see this portion and you hear plea deal or plea bargain, the canary now knows songs. You can listen to the canary sing. So
it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that.
Very interesting.
That case, particularly because I guess there's an investigation going on our ends on that.
And then you look, more things to talk about, obviously, and we'll get to them. But if you want to chime in, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head, brought to you by BTC.
And like I said, that's just some of the things that we're talking about whatever you want to chime in on, you can. And here's how. Text lines powered by BTC, 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence, 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4316. Toll free and anyone in the family on is 242-300-5720, 242-300-5720.
And of course, you can stream us live on GuardianTalkRadio.com.
And that's how you get it in. That's how you get it on for fresh news, smart talk all day right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. All right. Now, in addition to what MJ mentioned and I mentioned, just some of the things we need to talk about, there's more, and it includes the headlines.
It's time for Headliners. Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you.
And here's what's blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views that matter since 1844, all brought to you, of course, by Fine Threads. And don't forget both those locations, Tarpon Hill, Mackey Street, the flagship store, and the Southwest Shopping Plaza location available for you at 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Be sure to check them out. New arrivals are going on right now. For more info, simply log on to finethreads.com. All right, here we go. Davis woos future investors. PM, the Bahamas offers certainty.
Ooh.
What?
Well, you got to give me more than that. What else does it say?
Hold on. Sometimes this is a big hurdle for me to get over right out the gate. I thought it'd be a bigger hurdle later, but the Bahamas offers certainty of what? Load shedding? Potholes? Pot cakes? High count of foreign nationals?
Well, can you at least read the lead so I know,
Story by Chester
I haven't
Robards,
seen it yet.
senior business reporter. Prime Minister Philip Davis, who gave the keynote address at the 2025 Bahamas Business and Investment Forum in New York on Thursday.
Okay, cool.
Wait a minute, I thought he was here, so he was away again.
Well, I guess he left after his budget communication.
Makes sense.
But no, it's cool that we're having this investment,
Yeah? Spoke of a
thingy
country
in New York. Mm-hmm.
where the government rolls out the red for the bureaucracy and government systems and holds their hand throughout the process of their projects.
Government is the bureaucracy.
Davis told possible future investors that the Bahamas is safe, transparent, predictable, and a welcoming country with a stable government and strong laws. In a period of global uncertainty where markets are volatile, geopolitical tensions run high, and the rules of engagement seem to shift by the day, I come to you with a simple, confident message. The Bahamas offers certainty.
Well, I mean, that is the Prime Minister's job, right? He's doing his job. He's doing
I
his
know
job.
to a room of foreigners, that right there, Mr. PM, you sharpened them words, but you tailor-made them, you crafted them. That was
They
pure,
got your back.
pure King's Council in motion right there, boy.
FBI.
And you ain't had to cut no deal with no union to get your King's Council. I tell you that. You work hard for that. My boy. I tell you, that's my baseball buddy, my sports buddy. People don't understand it. Naughty.
You're something else.
How you could say one thing about the PM? I say, listen, everybody has a common ground with somebody, even people if you don't think they agree from that.
And when you're Bahamian, politics shouldn't be the be-all, end-all.
Exactly. I respect him for who he is. Sometimes I don't agree with his political, but as a sportsman, I tell you, if I had a sports crew, a football bunch, baseball player coming over to watch the game, he would be part of my crew. So it is what it is, but at the end of the day, that right there's wordsmithing right there.
It is his job to promote the country. He's been doing a lot of that. I wish that we had, and I know that we have a very strong foreign service force. I just wish some of that would be delegated to them more often than not, so that the Prime Minister could be here in the country and actually feel what citizens are feeling on the ground, because that's why I think this administration has gone very wrong. The lack of being able to relate to the everyday travails of Bahamians is going to be problematic for them.
People grow weary of hearing, where have I been chasing investments and taking the Bahamas out there and putting us back out there in a favorable light. When you look in the cupboard's bare. There's no surplus in the cupboard. There's no surplus in the fridge.
No surplus of jobs.
No,
Well, it may be, but they ain't going
not
to
for
Bahamians.
Bahamians. Correct. They're going elsewhere for $3. But this part gets me. In the next portion, certainty in our governance, certainty in our legal framework, certainty in our business environment, and certainty in our direction as a nation committed to stability, integrity, and sustainable growth.
I mean, from 5,000 feet off the ground, there's nothing that he said that was wrong. I would not disagree with what he said, like very generally speaking, right? But I'm sure that there are certain industries, even now as the Prime Minister presents his budget to the country, that'll say, we still don't feel that we have stability. What's going to happen with these taxes? We're not sure. You have the real estate industry saying one thing. You have the boating industry feeling a particular way. You have different industries feeling, that things aren't so stable for them right here at home. So I'm interested as they get deeper in the budget debate next week to hear some more clarification, some more specifics, because his address was like a 5,000 feet off the ground, just generally speaking kind of address. But there are some things that we definitely took note of.
I guess he's normally 30 to 40,000 feet above the ground normally on a regular.
I set you right up for that one. Right?
I'm thinking of surplus. I know there's probably a surplus of frequent flyer miles off of our ticket.
Got to be
off
through
of our
the
dime.
roof. A good bit of us could travel off those miles.
In the words of Barat, that is wow, very nice.
Hit the Far East.
For some people.
Hit Paris, go everywhere.
Here we go. Man acquitted of rape. The jury Thursday unanimously acquitted a man of rape. Prosecutors alleged that Michael Sterling sexually assaulted a 20-year-old woman on September 11, 2023. The woman alleged that she was in Sterling's home and he allegedly forcibly,
Okay. Yeah.
against her will. And by police, he denied the incident. Jurors unanimously rejected the prosecution's case and acquitted Sterling. So
that's
jury
that.
of peers. And if that's the case, it goes as due process and it's run the course and all the evidence is correct. I mean, that's what courts are for. That's what that's when it works. And then you have man convicted of child rape.
Oh, my gosh.
Supreme Court jury on Wednesday convicted a man of raping a 9-year-old girl in 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Channel Romaine showed no reaction when the 9-member jury delivered the unanimous guilty verdict.
Unanimous?
Romaine, who was on bail during his trial before Justice Jenny Weech Gomez has been remanded into custody pending sentencing. Sentencing hearing has been set for June 19th. Romaine's now 13-year-old victim testified that she lived in the same area of New Providence as Romaine.
Okay, so that's a unanimous verdict. And as you said in the other case, justice?
But at the end of the day, you look at some of the particulars. I'm just baffled. That don't sound like a Bahamian name. I don't want to sound xenophobic, but
I don't know what
Romaine.
a Bahamian name is, but I get...
Not a traditional, But you never know. Consultants' budget reduced.
From what to what? Oh, that's where we get that surplus from, eh? From what to what? You take it so long, like read Bahamas.
I had a joke, and I don't want to say it, so I'm going to just leave it.
But reduce from what to what? You can't.
I'm going to say it right now. I was just trying to... Look,
Okay.
Jokers is now closed. I can't get away with it.
I got you. I'm just trying to figure out if it's reduced
The
by from what
Davis
to what.
administration has reduced its budget allocation for consultancy services in the upcoming fiscal year. The budget numbers show that $59,409,580 in budget
There's our surplus.
is budgeted for consultants across 30 government ministries, agencies, and departments in the upcoming 2025-2026 fiscal year, which starts July 1st. Continued on page A5, so please allow me say something nice and pleasant after
Okay.
that I get to A5.
It's the weekend.
Yep, it's the weekend. There
Nothing
you go.
better you can say than that. That's the best
right.
thing.
All right, there's a 6, there's a 5. The largest allocations included $9.8 million in the Ministry of Tourism, investments in aviation, $2.3 million in the Ministry of Education, $4.8 million in the Port Department, and $1.5 billion in the Ministry of Immigration and National Security. In the 2024-2025 fiscal budget, the allocated budget was $76.6 million for consultancy services across 32 government ministries.
So from 76 to 59, that's what you're saying?
Yeah, but if it
It's
goes
not
across 30 agencies instead of 32,
So
then
you-
of course you might get a little,
You knock a quick
breakdown there
15,
because the math
16
is a
million
little
off that.
different.
You tell them stand down for a little while because you got to get
Correct.
this budget in. We got to make this look pretty.
And going from
'Cause we
32
wrapping up.
agencies to 30, so I guess two
Wrapping up
agencies
now.
or so sits more in the corner there, your name called. You got what you got, you see you next lap.
All right.
All right. So now that we got that out of the way, we'll take the first break. Flip side of the break, we'll get into the buzz, all brought to you, of course, by John. We'll talk about, obviously, still nothing of substance out of the grandiose Grand Lucaya deal.
Making me very anxious.
which amounts right now to much to do about nothing, as they say in Great Britain. Just a mountain out of nothing. Nothingness.
You're listening to Talking Heads right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM with Naughty and yours truly, Mary Jane. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
No mojo, I bounce back, no pogo, unhappy, no new brands, no logos, money on my juggler, natural hustler, think I need a smuggler up in Russia, you could be my butler, shine my cutler, shout out to Oyenda, that's the guzzler, okay, next thing, my life is a...
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large sides for flavor that will make your mouth happy and your feet dance. Order online or WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 to grab your KFC bucket today. Big flavor, bigger value, and always KFC. Finger licking good.
Been off the WSC grid for over a year? Now's the time to come back and save big. For a limited time only, the Water and Sewage Corporation is offering up to 50% off reconnection fees for customers disconnected for more than 1 year. Don't miss this reliable quality water service at a discounted rate. Call 302-5599 to learn more. Water and Sewage Corporation, dedicated to dependable, affordable water solutions.
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances. So come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
We're still here. Since 1941, the Armory Company has been your trusted partner and one-stop solution for all your business and technology needs. From printers to copier leasing, point of sale to cloud video surveillance, and access control to ATMs, we've got it all. And we ship to all family islands. Call our dedicated customer service team now at 397-1600 or visit us behind Wendy's on Mackey Street and experience excellence that stands the test of time. The Armory Company. Your success is our business.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
It's time for the buzz. What are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John Shoes.
Trying me, I feel it quietly, trying to silence me. Yeah, my anxiety can't shake it off of me. Somebody's anxiety. Solo, no mojo, I bounce back, no pogo, unhappy, no new brands, no logos, money on my juggler, natural hustler, think I need a smuggler up in Russia, you could be my butler, shine my cutler, shout out to Oyenda, that's the guzzler, okay, next thing, my life is a wet dream, I call it a sex scene, the bag is a...
We're back on the Friday, May 30th edition of Talking Heads, your boy Naughty Love and Mary Jane in your company right up until 6 p.m. into the buzz, on Roger, of course, by John Shoes, 4:30 p.m. is the time. And don't forget both John's locations, John's Rosetta, the flagship store, and John's Plaza Carmichael. Both of those great locations available for you 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Now, before we get into the buzz, quick check on the gas tracker. Rubis, 540. Esso, 539. Shell, 546. Interesting, Mr. Bond. Interesting. So, what you buzzing on? You know how to chime in. Phone lines are open. Text lines are open. And like I said, MJ, the big conversation, the budget.
And I'm so happy that that's the case. Like so many Bahamians are watching, and keeping an eye on exactly what's happening in Parliament and the way that they're allocating, our money. That's what it is. And speaking out about things that they like and deficiencies that are clearly there.
Like I said, it sounded good. I'd like to hear more about it in a little more detail. I hope it's not like the Grand Lucayan deal, or like other things where like mum's the word. Like why wasn't the Grand Lucayan addressed in the budget? Like mum's the word.
We're going to see those numbers yet, right?
Is the 120 million there? It coming, or it coming at a later date, or see what had happened? Let us know.
I was driving down the road like the same day of the budget. I was listening to it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, a surplus!" But then I was driving down Bay Street, and that road was so cracked up and broke up.
Surplus of potholes.
I was like, "Hold on now." So we got a surplus, but the infrastructure is in shambles. Like, do we have a surplus for surplus sake? Just saying that as some sort of a, kind of like a campaign.
Good.
Yeah, it's like it sounds good on a campaign trail, but really, anybody could have a surplus if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do. If you don't fix the roads, if you don't build the airports, if you don't do these kinds of things, if you don't pay the workers, these would really mean in the lives of everyday Bahamians. Even the part that the Prime Minister talked about with the 10 billion FDI. Well, first of all, last year's budget, he talked about 2.5 billion, and then this year it ballooned to 10 billion. The thing that I think most Bahamians have a problem with is that you tell us about all of this foreign direct investment, right? You talk about these billions of dollars, but are we feeling it? Is this money in some sort of a closed loop, in some sort of an enclave that we Bahamians don't have access to it? Because it sure feels that way. 10 billion supposedly passed through over the last, or has been invested over the last 2 years, but our situations have not changed much. So much so that they're now reducing VAT on things that were previously VAT exempt, that they put the VAT on and now taking it down a little bit. But we had $10 billion passed through, they say, or in the pipeline.
So what's that old song back in the day? Nothing from nothing, leave nothing.
I'm just saying.
You gotta have something if you wanna be with me.
And I think more important than just saying it, more than just like numbers on a piece of paper, you have to find a way and put the policies in place that Bahamians actually feel these big investments coming into the country.
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty.
Hey, what's happening?
Then calling. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Miss Mary J.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Tell me something. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, I got you, Papa. We can hear you. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Talking about the surplus, right? Did I hear them right when they allocated $10 million to start building a new parliament?
Yes, the new parliament.
In 2 years?
Well, it's supposed to be completed in 2028. I think the total is 65 million, but yes, they've put 10 million to it so far.
10.
Well, no, 10 million is to start it, right? To get it mobilized, to get it moving, and it's supposed to be done by 2028.
So a new government will have to consider if they're going to do that or not.
Well, if a new administration comes in, then yeah, they'll.
If or when?
Yes,
when.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, when. I say to myself, what we need to consider when they talk about the surplus, open your fridge.
Right.
Look in your fridge. You see surplus in there. Look in the cupboard. You see surplus.
No.
Check your pocket.
No surplus there.
You see any surplus in your pocket? Maybe
Nope.
surplus in them cabinet minister's pocket. Maybe they fridge get surplus in it in their cupboard. We ain't feeling it.
Right.
No, but you're right, Papa.
Foolishness, we not feeling
There's
it.
probably a surplus of Bahamians living below the poverty line now.
I think it's
There's definitely a surplus of hungry Bahamians.
Working people.
Correct, and look at the soup lines every day.
And they talk about they breaking it down so they could be fighting inflation or this feeling like recession we going through. But they ain't doing enough. I hear something but the indictment. Some new news come down but the indictment.
Well, no,
Y'all hear anything?
just the latest is that
Yeah, hold on. Before you go to the latest news, my daughter come running to me after the break. Daddy, cut that off. That music saying something bad. What the song was about after the break, coming into the session. I mean, anybody, you or Miss Mary J could tell us what are they exactly. She's trying to break it down and he tells me something that's saying that you don't want God to be, or something but anxiety.
no, anxiety.
Yeah. better.
Yeah,
Maybe
no.
you could tell me about it, but bring us up to news with the indictment of any new news, if it's possible. I hear you on the TV better. Sorry.
Sure.
All right, Papa, good stuff. Have a good weekend, man. We'll get you caught up to stuff.
So,
Let's get to the other call real quick. But
Plea
go
deals,
ahead
right?
before we do. Yeah,
Yes,
plea
plea
deals.
deals.
And basically,
in the pipeline, right?
In the pipeline.
Okay.
So, you know, if you got the defense taking a break so they can talk
both
deals
sides,
for
right?
both sides, often
Okay.
the prosecution as well, they've come to some sort of mutual understanding now. This is the deal. We have a deal in place. This is what we're going to do. You testify X, Y, and Z. And instead of getting ABC, you get element of P, and that's that. Let's go to the phone lines. Talking heads.
So I was thinking, clear the text as well, right?
Yeah, let's go to the text lines too, because you're all fully loaded as well. Naughty and MJ, they'd out the red carpet for foreigners, but red tape for Bahamians. Yep. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. How much is allocated for travel? That's a running budget. They're trying to catch up to it now, and then they'll tell us once they catch it how much they need, or how much more they need. Good day, Naughty and MJ. The consultant budget dropped because we lost the consultant. See, I was thinking it too hard, and that's why I didn't want to go there. So, too soon, Texter. Too soon. Too soon. If you see me pull it back, if you see me pull it back, you need to pull it back too. God bless the dead. Meet surplus. Yeah, agreed they won't meet the surplus, but at the end of the day, I'm still trying to find
the
out
projection, right?
where. Yeah, I mean, what else? Is this more smoke and mirrors? Because it's not like I'm trying to intentionally hate. It's like, look, it sounds good. I want to believe it, but I've seen a lot of this talk and no delivery, no follow through. Bahamians hungry, Bahamians hurting, Bahamians unemployed. Bahamians, like Dusty Rhodes said back in the day, hard times for Bahamians.
Put on the numbers, right? There's been some reporting that the surplus has been cut down some $483 million than originally projected. So I know that it's just a projection. I don't believe that we're going to actually have a surplus just on the surface of it. I know that things happen. I didn't see the allocation for disasters, and we know that we are definitely getting into the
busy season.
And pray to God that we don't have any catastrophic hurricanes pass through and cause like major damage or loss of life. But things like that you have to account for. Such a thing as the wall by Go Slow Ben that we talk about all the time. Things that the unexpected things that fall down and crash down that we have to deal with. I expect we'll see more of that. And so, yeah, sometimes, you would hope that you could get to that surplus, and they say that they're going to stay within the budget.
That Go Slow Man, listen, when you go down there, I got to know at some point who has gotten the contract to fix that wall. And if that's Ministry of Works, I cry shame on you all. Like utter shame. Just go to the office, turn in your badge, turn in your work ID, and just go. Y'all don't deserve it. It cannot take you that long to fix it. It cannot take that long. And how much is it going to cost us? That's our money.
Some of the things that I saw in the budget that I'm hoping we get further explanations on. I know that they did do so. Even though I've heard it used to be 0 and now it's 0 went to 10 and now it's back down to 5. A reduction is good. I will take that. And hopefully the next reduction will take it back down to 0, because Bahamians definitely need the relief when it comes to breadbasket items, when it comes to medicine in particular. I think we don't even talk enough about how, if you have a non-communicable disease that you have to purchase medicine for regularly, which we know because we have persons in our families that have to, it is very expensive, and it has been very expensive, especially when you have the inflation that we've experienced over the past few years, cost of living being what it is. So, yeah, if we could get that down to 0, that'll be excellent. I guess it won't happen in this budget, but in the future, hopefully we can get there. Some of the things that were also a little bit, can I tell you, the thing that this administration seems to be celebrating most is the thing that scares me the most, which is that our reliance on the cruise industry has absolutely ballooned to a place where I'm very nervous.
Now, before we get into this, let's get to the cause, because we want to get into this. Bless this out. Talking heads.
Yeah, bless up, Naughty and MJ.
What's going on, 52?
Hey, 52.
MJ, what's the signature law? Hey, Naughty. I can go fast when I reach Go Slow Ben.
You better.
Because it hurts my heart. Listen to me, Naughty. I thought a good design, like computer simulations, studying the longshore drift, just use some common sense. I don't have to be a genius to figure this out. The walls that they built on our key, right? I don't know. Some of them, I thought that was a good design where you have a trough system where the wave hits the wall, but you have some little openings where the water is able to come through somewhat. You understand me?
Correct.
So let's see some kind of innovative. It was a guy on call and said his cousin designed a bridge in a competition. He graduated in the States with an architectural degree or whatever. And so we have a lot of talent that's not being searched out, right? Searched for, right? Because when you look at it, the consultancy, right? I mean, we have our own, we have people here, we have all kind of pundits that we can really, I would prefer they keep the money here. I haven't heard from Dr. Gilbert Morris and people like that in a while, but I mean, you're listening to the radio, you got MJ, you got you got Howard, you got everybody calling in. C. Allen, Lang, Pearly sister, or Pearly cousin was on just the other day.
Yeah, I heard about that. Good
right?
stuff. Yes,
she
I love that.
reminded me of the Cahill woman from Ireland. Oh, God, what's the woman name? The scientist with the PhD in molecular biology and virology and whatever. When they speak, you could barely, you know what I mean? So I was so impressed. I was like, why are we not using our text about giving the foreigner, giving us the red tape and the red carpet?
Yeah.
So these are the kind of humor I'm looking for. But for me, I wanted to call in because I don't know when last you guys have traversed the rest of the international airport.
Yeah, not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago.
It looks like a dump.
I was down
It looks like a dump, Naughty. And the taxi drivers seem content with all the garbage, right, along the easement, right? The airport authority, they seem content with the garbage, let it all along the run, just north of the runway, and all along those easement going all the way up to the plaza, the new plaza out there going towards Old Port Bay. It's garbage decorating the road, but nobody's saying anything. We're slowly slipping into banana in which we're able to cope with this. When someone riding out there smoking a joint or whatever they're doing, they want to be in comfort. And it doesn't dwell well for people. You know, the whole place is a dump. Give me a break, man. I blindly Naughty.
52.
No, you ain't blind, but you want to be in comfort. I get you, man. But I feel you want to be in comfort. You want to take it all in and enjoy it.
You know, on the beach the other day with my little daughter, you got a drunken woman laying on the bench, cursing and carrying on the side of the beach. No space, no nothing. Anyhow, give thanks, man.
Yes,
right. I can show you this too, Naughty. With Waterworks, I pay a $300 water bill the other day. They tell me, say, my meter was stuck. So they estimate the meter from when the washing machine was working. So I don't know what kind of thing we dealing with. And, you know, in the 300, you know what they say? Everything cool, yeah.
The Martin or not 52. You kind of got me shocked when they guesstimate it. How you could guesstimate?
That's a lot, yeah.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ, my most favorite talk show host, Miss MJ. I hope breakwater election soon. I am tired of the gaslighting, and if you check the newspapers every day, or the newspapers every day, we are registering new people. That means Brave is creating a new voting bloc. But we get something for him and Clay. Savannah Sweater riding on the water and decided to sit this one out and prepare to be prime minister.
Hey, it's not wrong with ambition. That's not what the prime minister said. We do have an immigration problem in this country, a very serious immigration problem in this country. And I'm waiting to hear the Minister of Immigration, when he gives his contribution during the budget debate, tell us exactly what they're doing about this situation, because it grows more worrisome every day.
The whole Grand Rukaian party was like throwing a big, say, let's see the baby. The parents say, why y'all need to see the baby? Everyone is like, isn't that weird? Why we're here?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it's true. It's true.
Great show. You're requesting songs now? Hold on for the Morgan Heritage, man. I can see what I can do. Can you tell me?
Morgan Heritage, Mr. Producer.
We'll get there at some point.
At some point.
Can you tell me if all of the umbrella unions boycotting the Labor Day March? Now, I don't think all are. Some are for sure, but I don't think all are.
But that was a crazy scenario in itself, right? Like that story kind of got swept up with everything that we're talking about with the budget. But I am just still surprised, very shocked to hear some of the comments that came out of that argument when the head of the TUC, Mr. Obie Ferguson, talked about why they were not going to march when his members decided they weren't going to march and how it was politicized. Then I'm reading in the paper a release from the Progressive Liberal Party, that's who it was attributed to, saying that, oh, well, he shouldn't talk about them not getting stuff because he got something. He got a King's Counsel. Like, what? That is absolutely crazy. And like I said, only because of the budget, that hasn't gotten more attention, but people need to pay attention to that. We all thought it was extremely political for that union to have signed that memorandum of understanding with the then opposition party. But to now hear what the PLP claims was a part of that MOU is astounding. Not only is it quid pro quo, but if it is, and if according to them, that was a part of the arrangement, then I can't think of a more direct definition of corruption, because that's what it would be. So I guess when we get past this budget stuff, we'll go deeper on that. And if they want to amend their statement, like they're amending other things, they should go ahead and do that now, because we have to get around to having a conversation about that. You're giving out a King's Council based on support, pre-election, that's corruption.
And don't come, you got some defendants of this administration. Oh, that was a deal when they were cutting opposition. But no, hold on. Because we said on this show, that's the deal cutting opposition. And then.
But the problem is that he received the King's Council. So now that becomes something to do with the actual public trust.
Correct.
You could say, we said that, but we didn't actually do that. So we didn't do the corrupt thing. We didn't do the quid pro quo. But you, according to articles in the newspaper, are saying that that was part of the arrangement. And then when you got the power to do it, you executed on the quid pro quo, which is how someone would even admit. Who wrote that release for the Progressive Liberal Party? They must be fired by now. That's crazy.
And
that's ridiculous.
And it goes to the point. What she said, but then again, you make a deal with me when I'm a comedian and Jokers closes. Now you have a deal with me as a broadcaster. You still have a deal with Naughty. At the end of the day, if I do it or I don't do it.
We can recognize there's a difference, right?
Right.
You're in opposition. You don't have the power to do it, and it has not been executed. You executed it, and then the person, and you fall out for whatever reason, and then you come back and say, don't say I ain't do nothing for you, because you remember that King's Council you got was a part of that deal we cut before, that's not the way that King's Councilships, or whatever they call them, should be given out. That's an abuse of public office if that was given out based on the fact that y'all signed that deal before, you got, whether or not the person is merited to do it. And I'm not saying he isn't, because it seems that he is. But the fact that you cut that deal before and now coming back and telling us, that was a part of the deal from before, that's crazy.
Well, I've heard stories. I've heard, what do you call them? Urban legends?
Sure.
We call it like an urban
Island
legend.
legends. Island legends, yeah.
That there was once allegedly, there was once a very powerful, well-connected attorney that was in a particular party.
Okay.
And after being briefly in frontline politics, they took more of a back kingmaker role.
Politics isn't easy.
And after getting numerous favors for their hard work and allegiance and so on and sacrifice, allegedly, when Queen's Council and King's Council honors for them. So instead of being gracious, they took it upon themselves.
To do what?
To go ahead and have the proper robes and wig ordered and just show up on the day and get one. And they got straight.
Okay.
So if you don't get invited to the party, crash. And you can figure out which alleged political party that was in this version of Island Legends.
The deal that they cut with you and why you getting your councilship. Okay.
I think we're onto something with that too.
Yeah,
Let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hello.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Yeah. Good day, Naughty. Good day, MJ.
Hi.
What's happening, bro?
How y'all doing?
Good. Thanks.
Turn your radio down a little bit for us, please.
On a couple of things. Like my school made 52 asked about all them contract giving out. The word is kickback. Right?
Sure.
Them foreigners who come with them consultancy thing instead of the Bohemians and all the rest of that stuff. And MJ, you get it a little backwards. You say it's quid pro quo.
Yeah.
I think that's a pro quo quid.
Okay.
You see with that KC thing.
I gotcha.
So you see,
somebody got to explain some sides of the story. And Mr. Ferguson, for his part, has denied that was ever a part of the MOU. He has denied that.
But that's why we got to call it a pro quo quid, because they talking their own business.
It's crazy. It's like astounding to me.
Okay.
Good stuff, bro. Have a good weekend, bro.
Good afternoon.
Let's check the text lines. Naughty and MJ, if you didn't already, you'll need to hear the chairman of the PIP, Minister of Foreign Affairs, in his daily voice. And see, that's where you lost me. I stopped listening to that trash years ago. I saved 3 minutes of my time in my life.
What did he say?
Admittedly repeating that the Ferguson got the KC as quid pro quo for the signing of the MOU.
God. This the world. This what we're living in. Texter, send the voice note if you got it. I saw some reporting in the paper, but I didn't hear it from his mouth. So, and I trust the paper. I saw it reported in. So, crazy stuff.
All right. Listen, these texts are just pouring in. Naughty Ibit 52, the whole of Nassau Duddy. This government is celebrating things we don't even have. They're cheering the sale of our Lukaya, but there's no money in the bank. They're boasting about a surplus that isn't even projected until 2026. Praising their handling of the unions, yet the unions run their heels. It's all smoke and mirrors. I tell you, thinking and reading Bahamians are very insulted at this stage.
Just on the substance of and I was going to talk about this a little bit. I'm not going to go too deep, but the cruise industry, they've basically dominated our tourism product. I was a little
80
visitors in 2024 arrived by cruise ship. You know, once upon a time, and then I looked at that number. I went back. I did some research. I could tell you the period between 2000 and 2005 when they made that jump from, they hit a high of 65% around there, right? A high.
Right.
In terms of the number of arrivals that came through them. Then they made a jump between those years from 65% to 70%, and it's been guns blazing since then.
And how ironic that at the same time, those years you talked about, cruise ships started their campaign among the cruise ports in the region. You have no product. Your downtown port is dirty. It's dangerous. Too much drugs.
You do
too
nothing.
Much this.
You have nothing. You can't do these jobs. Can't do those jobs.
If you allow us to do this, we could bring such and fine. It is in the moment. It brings instant impact with jobs. Then post project, now you have the same dilemma that we have. That you have these cruise facilities or these private islands, and on the private islands doing jobs Bahamians can do.
Our tourism product looks so different now because of the proliferation of these cruise desks. I know they want to find words. They don't even want to call it private islands. By the way, I feel like it should be in law that they're not allowed to call those private islands unless given permission. Private destinations. These private destinations, that some of them are actually onshore on some of our major islands. I feel like we're at the point now where we're not even just, before we were greeting visitors, cruise visitors. Now we're basically servicing cruise corporations. They've taken 84% of our...
We're going to put you in this dilemma by bashing your products, and now we're going to allegedly rescue you and extricate you from it by building these grandiose private islands and daytime destinations where all the money is funneled in to you, to the cruise lines. Nothing stays in the economy.
And this is why we need transparency and accountability, because you talk about $10 billion. How much of that is attributed to these nations? And if it is so, then we know that a lot of that money is in a closed loop. They bring the people, they put the people to their private places, they get the money. They get the money for doing some stuff they shouldn't even been allowed to do from the first place.
Correct.
Now,
they control where people shop.
I did hear the Prime Minister talk about their VAT exemptions finally expiring, and that is a good move in the right direction, but we need to do more. There was also an amendment that the Minister of Immigration mentioned during the budget debate right at the end when they were tabling documents, where he talked about work visas that are going to go $3 a head, when previously the Prime Minister talked about cracking down on...
Work visas, you mean that's the new word for work permits.
Work permits, but it's the kind where the people ain't even bothering coming down to immigration worrying about all of that or sending in no bunch of information. They're just sending their name. They work for a cruise ship. They will be coming off and working in our country, where before we would think something like that would not and should not have been allowed. Those jobs are jobs that Bahamians can do.
Definitely.
And the fact about enforcing that,
Budget
and now we see
communication in
them
2024.
quietly make an amendment to say, okay, well, lost that battle with the cruise line, so we just y'all can give us $3 a head when y'all people come off the ship to work.
A Jones is around.
It's so crazy that we are losing so much ground, And there are solutions to these problems, you know. There are solutions. And I know that the Deputy Prime Minister is working to try to get more heads in beds. But my God, we're losing ground
But check this out. Let me put a little idea out there. We are the biggest cruise ship registry around, the second largest around the world. Why don't we look at it like this? If you look at Orlando, there's Port Canaveral not too far from Orlando where cruise ships go.
Mm-hmm.
And you marry the situation, meaning you come and you stay a week and you do Orlando with Disney World, all of that, and then you do a cruise and then you wrap up and you go.
4 days. Mm-hmm.
There's no way, we need to get visionary now, partner with these cruise lines and say, look, you've had enough. Now moving forward, this is how it's going to be. Before we start invoking eminent domain or making it nasty, as best as we can.
We can't make it nasty right now, 84%.
Yeah, for real.
You know, making it nasty.
So maybe not making it nasty, but just suck teeth a little bit and say, look, why don't let's try this approach? If we could put up the rooms to justify it, 15 to 30,000 rooms. Now, you come to the Bahamas for a week, or you can explore the family islands in a smaller boutique location, but you have a week here in the Bahamas. Then you have a week at sea at your port of calls, you know what I mean? And you wrap back up and you can either leave from here or get off in Florida, however you want to port. But however you swim first and then cruise, that's fine if you want to cruise. However you work it out.
So start here, right? Get the money while I did
dual promotion of the dual products. It guarantees heads in beds, and that's where the bottom line becomes Bahamians are benefiting, because now if you have the heads in beds, you have nightclubs come back. You have restaurants stay open later. You have other businesses open up because there's a justifiable need for the product. But if you don't make those kind of steps, we're going to end up being slaves in our own country to a cruise ship god.
Right now, like I said, we have no diversification even in tourism now. I mean, you do have the airlift stayed flat, stagnant, may have been slightly less. So they're not making the headway. Are they being incentivized the proper ways? Because the thing about it is, when we talk about stuff like this, we still don't even know the concessions that we give to these cruise lines. We still don't know the concessions we give that have allowed them to grow from about 65%, bringing in 65% of our tourists in 2000 to it ballooning up to almost 85% over 25 years. That is crazy.
I don't see why we can't afford to keep partnerships with air carriers on the West Coast, for example, and they jump on and they take late night, red-eye flights to the East Coast and to the on their side to the Hawaiian Islands and so on and so. Why can we not partner where they can take like a red-eye and get here our time, get right into things,
and
build it up, the East Coast market again. You have to build it up. You have to provide accessible, doable flights where people say, you know what, let's go to the Bahamas. It's there. It's right there. We got to rebrand. We got to remarket. We got to reinvent.
I want to be clear because you used the word brand, which is great. I love that we do get something from the cruise lines. We have formed a partnership. They have brought millions upon millions of tourists, and that's been important for us. But at some point, we need to diversify.
All right, MJ, hot topic. Text lines blowing up. Phone lines blowing up. So we will go over into the 5 o'clock. You'll probably join us at some point. We will talk sports eventually. But we're going to continue because there's a great topic going on right now, and you all have lots to say, so we're going to address that. Quick break. Cuban Willie's numerology report coming up, brought to you by the Island Game. Then we'll get into the news. Post the news. We'll be back into the 5 o'clock hour, and we will continue the Friday, May 30th edition of Talking Heads. And taking us to the break, Luciano. When it comes to them cruise ships, boy, some claim they love you, but they got an ulterior motive, boy. Let them go. Let them know, Lucci.
You wonder what the world is coming to. Kind of wants, but I got to sing it too. I got I'm there, I'm feeling the right alone. So we tell you that they love you, but they got an ulterior motive. Oh, what a shame. And then we tell you that they need you, but they got an ulterior motive. Personality. So we tell you that they love you. All I do is...
Feeling lucky? Here's Cuban Willie's numerology report. Brought to you by the Island Game.
Wepa, soy Joe Cuban Willie, and it's Friday, baby. It's the weekend, that's what I'm talking about. And it's time for the 3-ball and the 4-ball special in my numerology report, brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. And your 3-ball for the weekend. 792 is the 3-ball. 792, 792. And the 4-ball, 2288. 2288.
That's your 3-word and your 4-word for the weekend. Play them and win with the Island Games. Stay winning, my friend.
Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel want to take you and 3 others on a 7-day cruise to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part, no visa required. That's right, no visa required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. 1, fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian. 2, listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9. 3, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. 4, or make a purchase at Going Places Travel. Entry deadline is June 27, 2025. So pack your bags, get ready to soak up the sun, and feel that ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Drawing is on July 4, 2025. Brought to you by the Nassau Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included.
Saturday, May 31st will be hype because the Free National Movement and Nassau Top DJs are taking over. RM Bailey Park, Robinson Road, annual fair and raffle. Bring the home. That's family, friends, and even your pets. There will be cooked and grilled food. Music by the Infinity Band, featuring Novi Pierre, plus the Pope of DJs. Tank, Selecta Zoe, featuring DJ Wampa, DJ Cannon, DJ T-Mac, and DJ Ace of Spades to keep the party going all day long.
It's yours truly, Selecta Zoe. Catch me live at the F1M Fair. It's going to be fun, pretty great fun activities. Also, some lucky winner is going to walk away with a grand prize drawing of $10,000. You heard it from Selecta Zoe. I'm fully endorsing the message. You'll catch us live. You'll come out, and some lucky winner is going to win big with the F1M.
Get your tickets from the F1M headquarters on Mackey Street or any F1M party member.
It's your boy DJ Tank, the Pope of DJ Affairs. Come meet me and Nassau's top DJs Saturday, May 31st, Iron Belly Park, Robinson Road. The vibes are free, the food is hot, and the cash is real. Big money, 10,000.
Unstoppable together.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Turn up the heat and the flavor with the new Jalapeno Fire from KFC. Crunch into the iconic taste of KFC's original recipe, extra large filet that's made with KFC's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices cooked to perfection. Stacked high with spicy jalapeno peppers, pepper jack cheese, and our cool but kickin' jalapeno sauce, all wrapped up in a soft toasted brioche bun. Go bolder and crank up the heat with our spicy zinger filet. The new Jalapeno Fire is bringing the heat licking good.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Wake up. Wagwan. Alright, yo, the party shut. It's a good look for a eye. Change your eye and forward. Quick.
Yo!
Hear me no quick cook. Tell me how the thing look.
Talking Heads with Naughty is brought to you by the Bahamas Football Association, Burger King, the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival, City of Hope, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, Joker's Wild, KFC, Muffler World, Nassau Cruise Port, Naughty Johnny's, Percy's Island Games, Pinder Tile, Print Masters, Sandcastle Bahamas, Tropical Gyros, and the Water and Sewage Corporation.
Style with them, love them, watch you like MTV.
We're back at you on the Friday, May 30th edition of Talking Heads. You told me when it's something up there.
I like it.
Okay, let me draw for the popcorn, man.
Weekend starter. I like it.
There you go. All right, so we're back, into the 5 o'clock hour. We are going to be talking sports in short order. Pearlie will be joining us in short order. But I think it was a great topic that we were getting into on the flip side of the break and in the carryover. How, 84% of our tourism industry,
I know that
we are beholden, signed over by administrations.
Started as a partnership, is now them dominating, and you hear certain things from like the hotel industry, and you hear, this is why Bahamians are not feeling it. And I've heard the Deputy Prime Minister, in all fairness, talk about heads and beds, I think he made a statement just either earlier today or yesterday because he must know that we can see through these numbers, right?
You know, I know.
We can see through these numbers.
We love the Godfather series. You know how I feel when I see this, and when you hit me those numbers, they just like, no, sweet, it's actually 84%. I was thinking it was like 70. It was like, no, it's 8. That was so sobering. That gives us 16% like leeway of our own, of us.
Well, no, because the rest is airlifts, and then a small percentage of that, under 1% or so, based on the numbers that we have from them, is maybe they came in by yachts.
That's why I think it needs to be imperative now that we focus on family island airports and get airlifts into boutique destinations to get heads and beds that way.
And you have to figure out a better way to monetize it.
My point, and hold on 1 second, how much we love the Godfather. I feel like the cruise industry here in this country, they really monopolize us, is like Mo Green, and we're like Fredo. And I hate feeling like Fredo Corleone. Because, you know, Fredo was, be the weak one.
Never take sides against the family.
And then but we're really at a disadvantage. We've been pinned into a corner.
And I know that they won't say that because, you know, they have to negotiate with these people. You can't. But we could say it.
What wiggle room is 16%? Shut up and go in the corner and we'll think about addressing it later.
You have to put in place policies. So somehow you want to grow the number of visitors, but slow the percentage of that comes by the cruise lines. You really need to get those airlifts and other avenues up. Like, you have to do it. You cannot have 84% of the major industry in your country reliant on a single industry, which is the cruise line. It's just way too much. This is why we have the proliferation of these private destinations. Are we even in the position to tell them no at this point? And this is why we have the Minister of Immigration talking about $3 a head if there are people got to come off the ships. Why are there people coming off the ships? There's nothing that
why aren't they doing those jobs?
Let me not say nothing. Very few things that people coming off the ships to do. And you're a cruise ship brat. You know, be trained to do on those private destinations.
All jobs that are facilitated for those guests getting taken care of, Bahamians can do.
And I think this is where this government has a problem with the narrative that's building around them, because you have this on one end where you're giving out work permits like it's water, even though last year you said that you're going to crack down on this, right? You can crack down on these work permits. But you also have things that, you know, you do, like bringing in some new legislation about property taxes, right? So now if you're a second home owner and they want to put some verification rules in place, but you're here half the year, you get, you know, certain breaks that Bahamians would get. But if I'm a second home owner, let's say I live here primarily in New Providence, but maybe I spend half the year in Exuma. Where's my break? How is someone coming and for their second home, they get a break, but for my second home, where I'm contributing to maybe our family islands, I don't get that break as a Bahamian.
That's how you have certain learning institutions
it's just charging the way we think.
Foreign nationals less than that they charge Bahamians.
It's just the way we think. It shouldn't be happening. And I get it. You don't want, you know, Bahamians to game the system. Maybe they have condos and lying and saying, oh, cap on it. If they're allowed to have a home abroad and come here for 6 months and get a big tax break on their property taxes, then me as a second home owner, if I am as well, I need that same break too. I'm of the firm belief that people that are visitors to this country or that contribute to this country but are not citizens of this country, they're here like some of the time, they should not be getting bigger breaks than someone who's here contributing all the time. Me, my children, my family, we need the same breaks. Any Joe Blow off the street that comes in, you regard them as an economic contributor. But guess what? If I have a home here and a home in Eleuthera, I'm an economic contributor as well. Bahamians should be getting the same breaks. And it goes to a mentality. And that's why Bahamians have a problem with some of the policies of this administration, because in the details, they reveal a certain mentality that we do not like to see. We don't.
Let me get to the text. Well said. Naughty and MJ, when last have you seen a Haitian sloop come in the country? They're coming in now on Bahamas Air. They're coming in, but they're not leaving. Naughty and MJ, please find out when the price of gas is going to go down, and it hasn't trickled down here yet. Please find out from Frank. Boy, you're cool, eh? Naughty, it goes to show that O.B. Ferguson was biased and sold his soul to the PRP for a reward. He had his union strike against the F&M for gain, with the PRP declaring the award. Okay, the KC title, they're admitting to bribery.
Strange business. Strange admission.
Can you tell me if the umbrella unions boycotting the Labor Day March? And then the tax returns back, I agree. I don't know which portion you agree I taxed it, but all right.
Can I mention something else, too? Because it's been on my mind. I know we've done a lot on this for a while. We've been talking about FOIA, Freedom of Information Act.
Correct.
We had Mr.
And how
Matt
desperate we
Aubrey
need
as a guest on this show, and he talked about what they would need in funding. We're bragging about a $75 million surplus, right, projected. But we still haven't funded for it. So we have the money to do it.
But we still haven't done it.
We're just not going to do
But when you
it.
hear the PLP chairman and Minister of Foreign Affairs say, that's really not on our run. We don't believe in that. We don't need that. That's not what we're into.
But it's worse than that. You say a lot of things, and you talk about a surplus this, and you talk about that, but there's a deficit of trust, and it didn't just start with this administration. You know, Bahamians have been very wary of past administrations as well, because we don't get the level of transparency that we're supposed to get. We don't get you giving us timely answers to some questions that we find to be pertinent that you may just dismiss.
Right.
But to say I have this...
Promised the Freedom of Information Act.
We've been crying about it for
Because it's convenient
years.
to use it on the campaign trail.
I know that we discussed this a lot before the last administration and all. And still now you have the extra money and you say, yeah, well, we just ain't going to put the $1 million towards FOIA that Bahamians have been telling you we need because we want the transparency. I mean, if that isn't a slap in the face, I don't know what is.
Guilty confession. You know, Father Time is undefeated when your knee and your ankle pop at the same time and you say, that's such a relief.
He's so old.
Oh, Lord. All right. Naughty and MJ, how come we haven't heard anything from Lincoln Bain and the COI on the budget? He really is supporting the PLPA, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. These cruise ships are killing the country. That cruise port is the enemy of the state.
There's having a relationship, and the relationship that we've had for decades now is valuable to us. But we have to be able to admit to ourselves when things have gotten out of control.
Way out of control.
And we have to find some ways to, because it's more than just what's happening at the moment. It's what does the future look like for us? We've barely diversified our economy. We should, but we haven't had that opportunity. And when I say opportunity, I mean, well, we haven't had the fortitude to do it yet. And so when you see one particular lane now starting to gobble up the whole pie, at what point do you step and you say, hey, we got to do things a little bit differently?
You can't keep doing the same things over and over and over and again and with the same failed results and expect to be...
Because it leads to them pressing you, saying, no, we ain't hiring no Bahamians. We can just give you $3 because our people...
Shut up and go away.
Shut up and go away.
Good day, Naughty and MJ. Our country needs an overhaul. Our people need pride, Bahamian pride. Yes, got some new innovations, but we, the people, have to take care of what is ours.
Agreed. And I think there was one thing about the Prime Minister's speech I thought was pretty good, which is, even though it was like very congratulatory, even though a lot of these things have not come to fruition yet, I think that he is trying to pivot in terms of, putting some of it on us to be a little bit more involved. But the problem with that is it's hard to do that without having the data, without having the information, and they refuse to give that to us. So if we could see a day when, the administration is more inclusive in the information, then yeah, maybe we could do some more. Because Bahamians are extremely intelligent and innovative.
Correct.
I think we all know that.
And creative.
Extremely creative.
All right. We can sell the same Robinson Crusoe Island experience to multiple cruise ships and Bahamians and not the other nationals and cruise ports and cruise destinations. We need more like Toby Smith. And also, Naughty and MJ, in my opinion, I think there's a push now to get the locals out of the jet ski business.
Well, I remember the Prime Minister talking about a conversation that he had in Washington, D.C. And I remember the former Prime Minister talking about something that Trump would have raised back during his first term. So I look at, that mention of it, not it happening itself, but that specific mention of it during the budget communication as, kind of a hot tip to them, like, okay, we're dealing with this situation.
Naughty and MJ, I understand the population growth, but only amongst a certain few and a certain crew. Naughty and MJ, Philip is a poor excuse for Prime Minister. He needs
Prime Minister. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
He needs to ring the darn bell. The media needs to find out from the financial secretary, Simon Wilson, if the money reached yet on the bank for the hotel in Freeport. MJ is correct. Like I said, Aunt Mary J is correct. Even the Minister of Education said the cruise ship is in the street is out of control here in the Bahamas.
And I wish that, like more voices that do feel this way or see what's coming or see what has arrived. I shouldn't say is coming, it's here. Would just speak out about it, and then we could, form a national plan. Because like I said, there are some policy initiatives that we could implement to try to turn this thing around a little bit. We want the cruise ships to come, but are we comfortable with them bringing in 85%, or would we be more comfortable maybe at 70%?
Right.
We just
a little more flexibility.
We need
70-30
flexibility.
better than 85-15 or 84-16.
For a long time, it was at around I think it hit a high of 65% at around 2000, and then their private destinations exploded, and then the numbers exploded, and I think that says a lot. And now they're doing spa services and all kinds of stuff on these private destinations to the Bahamian economy.
Naughty and MJ, these Bahamians needs to have their head examined. I take it you Bahamian too, Dexter. I just passed the prison and was just horrified that they have chopped down the fully loaded sea grape tree, and there along those lines is a huge. And if it's that one in particular, I thought the Minister of National Security needs to answer for this. And yes, let me play Johnny Appleseed right now for all of you tree huggers and tree lovers out there. Yeah, you cannot. Sea grape, man, especially this time of year, is fully loaded, man. I know people was plotting and waiting. They ain't ripe yet. Couple days. People look forward to that kind of stuff. Why would they do that? Was it a security breach or security risk?
And some trees have been there for forever.
Naughty and MJ, we are so politicized that we can't see any wrong that none of these political parties do. We really need to wake up. All right, let's get to the phone lines. Talking heads.
Hey, Naughty.
What's happening?
Boy, right here. You saw something came on viral from the former Chief Justice.
You mean a voice note or?
Yeah, voice note, yeah.
Are you talking about Dame Joan Sawyer?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard. I've heard of it circulating, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it.
Yeah, boy, you got to listen to that, and I surprised. This immigrant problem is going to, we talking about this and that and A1, B, and Z. We don't watch it, we're going to lose this country. According to what I see going on. And we ain't talking about it. We just letting them do what they want to do. How you can let 3 flights go to that place and no on it, and that's about 900 people coming here a week, and they getting all our a passport and this and that. Everybody saying it's Bahamian and all kind of foolishness. And she handled that right. She called all the former people's name who give up these citizenship. If Bahamians don't hurry wake up, we're going to lose this country.
That's very true.
And another point, too. Why we got to wait till the damage is done? Right on that, and I know more than me once saying that. On that rail field. You run them from there, they back and coming bigger than ever. Now we can wait till again, maybe like the mud, and then we can hold on. Oh, they've been building it, yeah, but somebody have to take the heat and stop them from building. A lot of track road cut on that rail field. Now you may hear me talk about it all the time, but if we don't do nothing, you have your show. They is going to outnumber us. It ain't going to be long. Because if you look at it, the government schools full up. It's full up, and they come in here, the plane go there empty, but coming back full. So I think you need to make a topic on that, and we need to get serious about that before my children, my grandchildren, and so forth, they lose this Bahamas. But the thing with Dame Sawyer, you need to look at that.
All right, we'll talk. I appreciate it, man. Good stuff. Have a good weekend.
The caller's right. That's been something that people have been talking about a lot.
I've just been informed by Legal. And Legal and Corporate always listen,
Go ahead, Legal and
so
Corporate.
Good afternoon, Legal and Corporate. And apparently people need to be careful of some of these things circulating on the voice notes
Sure.
because some of them may not actually be
from the person
To
that
the source,
attributed to,
correct.
right? So we're not sure. We didn't say the details of what was said on that one,
And I have to hear
I don't
it,
know
but
who
obviously,
sent it out.
If legal is
I
intervened,
totally
they've done
hear
their
you.
due diligence.
I totally hear you.
But I always told you legal was a fan of this show.
But we do have to talk about the fact that there is an immigration problem. It feels like we have an immigration problem in this country, and a lot of it could be, the feelings that Bahamians have could be assuaged if we had information. Is anyone telling us about how many persons have been given citizenship, naturalized over
And
the
where are they
past
from?
couple of
'Cause,
years?
yeah, we focusing on one nationality, which is problematic.
We need to focus on in
But,
general.
in general, because there's a multitude. To the I call it the United Nations. Go and come in the food stores on a Sunday morning. You feel like you're in the United Nations.
Yeah, you're making through a signature more citizens to a country which affects us all, and you're not telling us about the details about that. Becoming a Bahamian should be something that's not only a great feat for someone who really loves this country, wants to be a part of it, but it shouldn't be an easy thing. It should not be, and this is why I argue about people talk about names and stuff like that. If you cross the hurdle, it should be a high hurdle.
High hurdle. Almost like high jump.
Taking numbers should be a big leap to get over that hurdle to
just say a
become
Herculean leap.
a Bahamian citizen. There are other ways that we can reward persons that are contributors to this country, that contribute economically. Some don't do culturally, but they do economically. Maybe you want to give them permanent residency, allow them to contribute to the growth of the country and the growth of the economy. Great. Be here amongst us, learn our ways. But it shouldn't be an easy feat to become a Bahamian citizen. We have to guard our citizenship like we guard in Fort Knox. Once you do get there, though, yes, I don't think there should be any discrimination in terms of being a Bahamian.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh from the air fryer, ready for the Dodgers and the Yankees tonight, ladies and gentlemen, from Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. I wish he could be a Los Angelino, but he's the Bahamian Nino. It's Pearly, ladies and gentlemen. It's Pearly.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the third base line, just getting ready,
Excited.
This game one, correct, Pearly?
Sorry?
This game one, correct?
This is one of three.
One of three, so nice weekend series, man. I expect to hear from you this weekend, bro.
I don't expect you to duck me, though.
No, I'll take it if we lose, but boy, if we win.
Jesus.
Oh, Lord, it's been a minute. And I know Frankie, my late good friend Frankie the Yankee Simmons gonna be over Chavez Ravine tonight. He could put a hand on this one. We need a win. It has been a minute.
Yeah, I called Gosselin this night. I said, bro, you got a big one tonight. Don't blow it. He said, okay, right. I won't blow it.
I called him back. I said, you heard what Pearly said? I said, ignore that. We can beat the bejesus out of you, boy.
He said, I can't ignore what Pearly said to me. He's a good man.
Oh, the BS for baseball to be entertained.
You've got Gonsolin tonight, knock on tomorrow, and on Sunday night.
All right. Well, probably we're going to get to sports in a second, but MJ and I were talking, we went over a little bit. Obviously, to get you caught up by, if you haven't heard, the budget in relation to the position of last year at the budget communication. The Prime Minister said there were going to be more due diligence about work permits, track them, have less work permits, make sure Bahamians were in the industry and trained to maintain and stay in the industry. Now we forward the tape to this year. Minister of Immigration, MP for Fort Charlotte, Mr. Alfred Sears, tables an amendment which basically now calls, work permits, work visas. We get $3 a head, no Bahamians in the workplace. The tourism industry is pretty much monopolized. MJ brought up the numbers. A staggering 84% of our industry belongs to the cruise ship industry. We got 14% to work with. It's staggering.
They've been talking about that for a while. That overnight stay has been dropping. While they're touting that cruise ship passengers growing. And talked about the cruise islands and all that stuff, which is a good thing. But we need more people overnighting because we need that money to be spent here.
Absolutely.
In order for the economy to grow.
A text that says, I prefer less tourists that will spend more than $12 million spending $2. Let's get to the phone lines real quick. Talking heads.
Hey, good afternoon, Pearly. Naughty.
That's fine.
What's happening?
And MJ.
Hi.
Yeah. Man, you guys are on spot again, right? When it relates to this immigration problem, right? It's something needs to seriously be done because if my house only get hold 3 people, right? I have a 3-bedroom, right? And I made 6 more persons inside my house. I don't invite them, right? But they demanding.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. We can hear you.
Hello?
Did we lose the call?
No, we got you.
Hey,
Go ahead,
caller,
caller.
go ahead.
Go ahead. You dipped out, but we got you back. Go ahead.
Yes, that's going to come up, right? And so we don't need to have rocket scientists to be running this country to come to the understanding that, look, what is being built up in this country right now, presently, it will cause a problem in the house. Because we have our kids coming out of school, right, to look for jobs that already are not in existence, right? So what is this we are doing? Because if 900 persons coming off a plane, one airplane allegedly of our carrier every week, 900, right? And we didn't know that's 3,600 a month, right? And then they say we have 5,000 people coming out of school every year, right? Well, in 2 months we then saturate the potential jobs for those people who will come out of school in 2 months.
The only concern I have with what you say, caller, is that we don't have 900 air seats coming out of the South a week. I think Bahamas has maybe 1 or 2 flights, which is not quite 900 people. So
they said they have 3 flights per week. They said they have 3 flights a week, and within those 3 flights a week is the planes to seat them with 300 people. I know.
No.
I don't think we have a 300
seater.
Yeah, that's seat 300.
Okay, well, that's why we could put it allegedly. But see, the problem is, too, I can go on this, right? The main problem, immigration problem, right, is we having people coming into the country right? We don't know if they was involved in this type of activity or if they was involved in that, right? Everybody is being allowed to come in this country as if they was just, they just got saved before boarding the plane. You all guys have a nice day.
I got you.
Have a nice week.
You know the concern I have, MJ Naughty, is when you open up the Guardian every day. I don't know if they call it deed poll. I don't know if that's what they call it or whatever it is. But those little notices, the immigration notices, are all over the Guardian. Look at the Guardian every day. You got a bunch of them coming in there every day, and I don't know. It sounds as if this government is giving out citizenships like.
And the thing about it is,
I don't know.
We don't have the information. We don't have a way to access the information. They're not forthcoming with it. A lot of the, misinformation or disinformation that may be out there, because some of it is actually, I guess, accurate in some cases. But a lot of it could be cleared up if they would give us access to the information. They're not doing that. And people are coming.
Information Act.
Exactly, which they refuse to fund. And people are coming with their anecdotes. And I'm trying to handle this particular topic because it's like a bigger picture happening globally. But it does feel like things are shifting in this country. Like you feel like you can't deny it. Certain things are shifting in this country, and our government is not being responsible or responsive to us as citizens, even us as the media, and giving us answers to the question, what's going on at National Insurance Board? I heard about a scandal at the passport office. Did we get any follow-up with that? No.
Nope.
Come talk to your people.
That's Prime Minister. We're not prepared. I don't already give no details. Oh, I'll be talking about something else, but they're not talking. They're not telling us what's going on.
Yeah.
And then they get vexed when you question them on it, or you accuse them of certain things. The rumor mill that is flying, the rumors that are flying around this country, that this government is giving out 10,000 citizenships.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is, but when the rumors get like that, it's a scary thing to even think about it. And the government should say something, should come out and either deny it or confirm it, but let us know what's going on. We have a right to know.
Yeah.
They own something like that. They own a statistic like that, Purdy. If it's true, that'll cost them the next election.
No, I know that, but and I'm not.
So they'll never own that.
It's a sensitive matter, but when you go around, I remember as a little boy, when I used to go to Miami, Flagler Street.
You know about Flagler Street?
You see a sign say, "Si español, si hablo español."
Se habla español.
Or whatever it is, but you used to see that. And then it got to a point that you walk around Miami, you say, "Yes, we speak English," and the sign that was outside the door. It's going to get to a point in our country that you can have a sign that says, yes, we speak English, because you go in many places and you don't know.
But then you didn't tell the old story of Flying the Street Belly. It used to say, Steins used to start off saying, "Se habla español," and then it became, all these damn Cubans done took us over. English, buddy, English, Pedro, English.
It's a lot. But like
I'm concerned, but everywhere you go,
right?
You know, I said something the other day. Is this still the Bahamas I'm in or not? And I'm trying to say this in the most sensitive way I can possibly say.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a concern.
Yeah.
It is a concern. It is a concern.
All right, let me get these couple texts and we get to the calls. Naughty MJ, I agree with the cruise industry being out of control, but the minority isn't saying anything and the locals suffer. If you can't beat them, join them. Waiting for the IPO and all these new developments. Let me make some pennies since no one wants us black people to get the Benjamin.
They do have, I think the development with Royal Caribbean is offering Bahamians 49% equity, but you have to see the details of that, because, you know, the devil is in the details.
Good day, Naughty MJ and Pearly. I hear it's our own people in the Department of Immigration who are allowing foreigners to reside here after taking bribes to expedite their work permits, allegedly. Been hearing those allegations a long time. Naughty and MJ, good afternoon. Bahamians, please, let's change this two-party nonsense and vote these guys out. Recently, you haven't heard of Haitian sloops landing in the Bahamas. The truth is they're now flying in by Bahamas Air. Wake up, Bahamians. It's right under your nose.
That's scary.
All right, let's get this call and then we can chop it up some more. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty, calling back. The immigration problem with the citizenship. Now, you know that all of those applications can be challenged once they make an application by any Bahamian, once the application is there. Also, the political parties need to take track of those names because the Bahamas Nationality Act is an unconstitutional act. It's been challenged by, what's his name, Sean Gardner, who calls himself blackmail, and I think his attorney he works with is our former Speaker of the House, Halston Moultrie. Now, we have to do our part in keeping up with all of this sort of stuff. As the cruise ship, do you all know that the airlines that fly over our airspace have to pay a fee?
Yeah, but who's collecting that fee now, and where's that fee going, and when's it going to get to the bottom line?
We have systems in place now.
And the jobs can be secured. They talk about private keys, right? If there are Bahamian jobs on the keys, they should let them know. Ain't none of their employees coming off them ships to do nothing on those private islands. And just like how the hotels have to pay all these levy taxes and all that sort of stuff, tax them for every passenger that comes on the ship. Last week, Graham Rutherford had made a comment about just the VAT. Are we collecting any VAT money from them? Collecting all the fees that they pay to come on the cruise and coming into the Bahamas? There are several different ways for them to challenge them. But like they say, we need some cameras in the Cabinet Office, and we really need some of them under the Cabinet Office tables to see what's been passed when they talk and the negotiation with these people. Okay?
Thank you so much, caller.
Good
and
points.
People may think that like we be coming on hard, particularly on the cruise industry, but no, because it's something to be concerned about. You're a cruise ship brat. Tell us about some of the things they couldn't do back in the day. Those those Penguin days, those early days that they're allowed to do now.
Everything was locked
crazy.
down in port. The gift store locked down. The bars locked down. The restaurants locked down. The casino most definitely locked down. They had one bar for the pool, the service folks. One bar, the pool bar. The main dining room was still open for those who went off and came back on, but none of the other stuff was available. And when you left port, you had to be 3 miles out before the slot machines and the casinos could open, and so on and so forth.
Yes, exactly.
So how that changed over the years.
And then the main dining room times, there were particular times.
Because there were seating times and lunch. Right. So you have to look back at what it encouraged. It encouraged people coming off the boats, and it encouraged Le Cabaret. It encouraged the birth of Crystal Palace. It encouraged the casino shows. It encouraged the Playboy Mansion or the Bunnies that was in existence at some point.
The taxis got more
customers. There was nightlife. All of the nightclubs worked. There was a plethora of nightclubs.
Notice the nightlife now, right?
Dead.
And you know why.
I know in late night restaurants too, where you could actually go because people knew I'm going to make a living off cruise ship. People that work and get off, they're not leaving until 4 a.m.
Right.
And now you had specialty Pino's. My God, Pearlie, you beat me to a Pino's fast food. God, that pizza was good. Jesus, that pizza was good. What I do for a piece of Pino's right now? And he had the desserts too, and he had the fresh ice creams and the gelatos. Pino was the man, bro.
So you can see people looking at, what is he talking about?
I know, right?
But you know what it is, Freddie, man. Mommy pull up, Lord bless the dead to the side. We'll say, okay, run in. I call the Pino's and it's ready, man. You go in there and 2 pepperoni ready, and then you dig into that, man. And that cheese, it had the cheese pull, it had the crunchy crust. The pepperoni was, it was perfect. It was like the best.
So
and then Swanks came along afterwards, and it was a close hot second.
Pino's or Swank?
Swanks was number 2. Pino's, that had them beat, bro.
Okay, all right.
But I'll go to bat next to Pino's. Swanks was the best we ever had. And Swanks run it for a while, and then Swanks came back, and then Pizza Hut closed, and I believe they used to have a little Pizza Hut though, because it don't taste like Swanks no more.
No, it don't. No, sure don't.
Yes.
Because if you know Swanks, you know Swanks, and if you know knockoff Swanks, you know the difference.
I know what you mean.
The whole point was that a lot of the money could circulate in the Bahamian economy.
Correct.
Now it feels like it's being captured. That's why when
and
the
the straw market was the straw market.
You don't feel it.
It's a plethora of stores and artisans, wood carvers. And they also had the Surrey rides that were famous. Everything, there was, Bay Street was alive.
And to hear the Prime Minister say that our GDP growth is going to be fueled by the cruise lines, man, try on. Let's figure out other ways to do other things. Go ahead.
Sorry, you could walk down Bay Street. Because you know, like, when Tommy Darren and he should come in town.
Sure.
Or Silent Nick.
Okay.
Got to go shopping.
Downtown.
You got to go downtown. But you would hear.
You know what I missed from downtown? And modernization has stopped it.
Right.
The nice dressed police officer directing the traffic and tourists stopping to get a picture with him.
Yeah,
that don't happen anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I used to hear was the ring, the sound, the chorus of, welcome to the Bahamas. Have an awesome day. Would you like to come into the Nassau shop? Would you like to come into the linen shop? Would you like to come into Butter and Sands? And it was Bahamian accents. Now you hear, welcome to best. Would you like to come in and buy some rubies and pearls and something nice?
If you come to the Bahamas.
You don't see Bahamians there, and anytime a Bahamian there.
And I can say it just like that.
I trying to figure out, like, y'all putting a serious question in my mind. If you come to the Bahamas and you never even meet a Bahamian, did you even come to the Bahamas?
Oh my God!
Where you been? Like, I'm really trying to
deep,
and it's possible.
That's deep for Friday.
It's too deep for Friday.
Now that's gonna stimulate for the weekend. That's gonna pop into my head. There's no football to take that kind of thought out. I'm gonna meditate.
We can watch baseball. I know you and Pearlie be watching baseball.
Yeah, but still, it's gonna pop into my mind too, like in the 7th inning. Why is it like wow? If you
go
come
to France, you didn't even meet a French, but did you even go there? Like, come on.
Wait a minute.
That's true. He's gonna get to watch.
Let me just play.
He don't have to be on stage cracking jokes.
Exactly. But watch this. Let me paint the scenario for you. And God, caller, I see you. I coming to you now. You get off the ship. You get in your cab.
Not cab, because they may even. I mean, you have some different destinations where you go straight to the place.
Okay. But your first experience then, when you go, say minus the cabs, and we put that out, right? You go straight.
You're on the tender to the little private.
And you get to the tender, you hear
destination.
The first accent you hear, hey, good to see you. Welcome. I like and that's a good to see you. Then from there, you now you have a good time there, right?
You can do it.
Then you go on, and then you meet people from all over the world. My name is Joselito from Ecuador, and what you like for lunch today? Then you go to the next station. My name is Manuel. I'm from Spain, from Barcelona. What would you like to drink? Would you like some sangria? Then you walk a little further. Ricola, my name is Gunther from Germany. Welcome to the private island. So now you finish your private island experience. You catch the ferry back. You bust down to Bay Street. And when you get to Bay Street, you say, all right, let me get to the straw market. When you get to the straw market, lot of mercy. Let me sell you something nice, baby girl. You want a nice bag or something like that?
Foolish.
And then you get to fish fry. And when you finally walk down the fish fry, it brings us back to welcome to the fish fry. You wanted the pepper and the corn salad.
Yeah, we got it. We got it.
And there's your whole trip without seeing a Bahamian. And shout out to all my internationals who I just shouted out, and all of you is one. But yeah, you all know how you always carry on.
All of us just say that it's a shame that we are in 2025, and it's very possible for a Bahamian to be missing from the whole experience.
But
that's crazy.
That's crazy. And the thought is wow. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads.
Hey, sorry I had to call back, but MJ, you are correct, man. Hello?
Hey, caller.
Yeah, man, because when I was working downtown, right, when I used to probably knock down the Churchill building, right, in the Baghdad, right, when the cruise port used to come that way, right, at that end. Now, I was speaking to one guest, and she was very upset, and she was saying to me, well, I thought speaks a foreign, a different language. I thought the Bahamians speak English, and she was very upset because she had encountered somebody who was working in the tourism areas, but she couldn't understand one way this gentleman was saying. So that's a very serious issue, and we are it ain't getting no smaller. It's growing. Like
I think
I think we lost you there, but good stuff, man. I appreciate the call back. Yeah. Let me get these other two texts in real quick. Naughty, we don't have nightlife now outside of the resorts. No parking, no safety, no Bahamian immersion. Can't blame the cruise ships because businesses want profits. Blame us for not putting our feet down and negotiating better for Bahamians. I agree.
Yeah, no, I didn't put it on them. I mean, in their shoes, hey.
Cruise ships are here to take, not contribute to our economy. That appears to be the case. So,
and there's a place for them in our system. Like I said, when it stayed around 65% for so many years, it was kind of more equitable relationship. Now they've ballooned up to 84%. This is a problem.
Look at how many families from the tourism industry, okay? I could name off a plethora. I went to school with several young persons, boys and girls, whose parents worked in the straw market, and hey, I'm making money off this straw market. It's turned into family profession. I'm making great money. You going to the best private school on island? Or you going to St. Augustine? Or you going to QC? And that was part of the norm. People worked. They had an opportunity to sell.
I tell people I didn't work in the hotel industry, but I grew up in the Nassau Beach Hotel. My dad worked there all his life.
Exactly.
I grew up in the Nassau Beach Hotel.
Right.
So you know about service?
Yes.
You know that you can make a great living being a waiter and then moving up to a maitre d' or sort of. You could make a career in the hospitality industry, in the restaurant business alone.
Yep.
And good money, like good money. Back in the day, the casinos, you made good money off the tips. Because there was volume of overnight heads in beds. You don't have it now.
But we need it.
We need it. And back to my original point that I was trying to make, be on par with Orlando. So you have the heads in beds experience, you have the cruise experience, and then you have all of these other things, and it provides jobs. Because, year round, outside of two major casinos, we now have other casinos set up that are playing to a revitalized downtown, like Fremont Street in Vegas.
Right.
You see the wonders what they did with Fremont Street. We've always enjoyed Fremont Street.
Yeah.
Why can't we turn Bay Street into that?
And we've heard from...
And there's public-private partnerships that could work because you got the building owners that need to revitalize. You got government entities. You got other entrepreneurs that are interested. Do the partnerships. Make it happen.
And it's such a crazy loop because it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The cruise lines often say, oh, well, you got so much crime, you have nothing to do, so we have to put this little separate thing on the side to keep our guests safe. But the more they do that, the worse conditions become for the rest of us Bahamians who are actually building up this land, not just passing through.
Correct.
So we have to make some changes. I'm really interested to hear the rest of the presentations in this budget debate to see where we're going with some of these
ideas.
And
I'm sure we'll talk about this next week, and it'll ripple over into next week. But another thing before we get out of here.
There's somebody speaking Wednesday, Thursday, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we'll have opportunity to talk about this there.
Yeah, a lot.
But my question is, Pearlie and MJ, now that we look at it, still going on 2 weeks now, and there is no, not a mention, not a word of anything pertaining to the Grand Hawaiian.
Listen, man, the Minister of Grand Bahama, the Minister of Grand Bahama have to stand up and get, I would assume, with the budget. And ain't no way you stand up.
That's the Prime Minister or the Minister of Tourism got to say something. I want to hear that from the Minister of Grand Bahama.
No, I hear you. I hear you don't want to hear from. I totally get it, but I'm saying that I'm sure.
Not on that issue.
I'm sure she's gonna have to give a presentation. And since the Prime Minister put this baby right in her lap at that big party they had, I don't want to hear her talk about much else except this deal that apparently she brokered and she put together. And the details of the money, you're absolutely right, between the DPM and the PM, they need to tell us where our money is. But I would like to hear some more details from the Minister of Grand Bahama, because it's supposed to be the big deal.
She didn't broker that deal. She did. The Miami consulate are calling.
I know, Mr. Hollingsworth, who, by the way, was my 6th grade PE teacher.
Wow.
Crazy small this world is.
Very
Mr. Hollingsworth. I heard that he was the one that introduced, but
PE teacher. I got you.
Yeah, he was my PE. No, he was. Which y'all like? You know what?
No, because to me, I instantly ran into St. Andrews Mud, and I could see like a Hollingsworth, and I'm like, we would have done tortured him with a name like Hollingsworth.
Oh boy, he was so tough. He was so tough on us. Track team, running, and
the harder you get shaved, the worse you get.
He was tough on us, but very good. Very good PE teacher.
My 6th grade PE teacher was Betty Cole.
Oh, I know, Miss.
That's that name near and dear to my heart, man. Yeah. My swim coach, Betty Cole.
Yep.
One of the greatest swim coaches in the region.
Great lady right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good peoples. All right, let's have a look at this right now. Tonight, Pearly, you got anything else to say politics-wise? All right.
I'm good.
We're gonna wrap up on this. But you hit my heart there with Betty Cole, like Pearly. You's a big boy.
Great
I'm a softy boy, and you really hit me with that one.
Sports.
All right, tonight we got a good one. And Pearly, I'd like to wager, I'm gonna take the Yankees tonight. We're gonna get right to the chase. We got the picks. It's one pick. It's all brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. The game, the friends you trust, all right? And the Island Game always reminds you to play responsibly.
All I know is one thing. Indiana better win tomorrow night, because if they go back to New York for Game 7, they're in big trouble.
It's all over.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I can tell you now, Pearly. Yankees, 35-20. Dodgers, 34-22. We ain't got to talk about who got a better record. 10-10 is the time. MJ and I could be watching. I know you could be watching. Keep your phone close.
Lord.
I'm telling you now, I taking my little Island Game bankroll, and MJ, I'm shoving it all in, because you know who's on the mound tonight? The Dodger killer, Mr. Max Fried. 7-0, 1.29 ERA. Ooh. Career Dodger killer when he was with the Braves. Done a great job jumping to the American League. I pushing it all in tonight. I like the Yankees and the money line. All right, and here's the deal. I like it under the 8.5 runs as well, too. But my first inclination is go Yankees money line, over and under. But I think there's a lot of pitching there, and I think they go under the 8.5 runs, too. What say you, Pearly?
I'm going to take the Dodgers on the money line, and I'm going to take it over the 8.5. I think we get shell free tonight.
Ooh.
He's overdue. He's overdue for a loss, and he's overdue for the Dodgers to shell him. That's tonight.
Because he's been owning y'all for a while, right?
That's tonight. Oh. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think one more time, Fried rises to the occasion, looks you right in the eye, and pulls that classic line from the late Val Kilmer in Tombstone. I'm your Huckleberry. And then he gonna mow you right down. Da, 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 da.
I'm just curious, what does the line look like? What does what the book?
That game right now is the Yankees are 110 and the money line.
So it's close.
And the Dodgers are 120 on the money line.
Plus 120. Yankees net.
No. Yankees are minus 110. Dodgers are minus 120. So it's not really
minus. How could both?
There you go. Have the line. Have a look there at one line.
Always have been confused like that.
Now hold on.
I can't figure out both.
Let me pull up the actual. No, let me pull up the actual site, because basically that's the live line right there. If you're going to bet individual, if you bet 100. And the Yankees are 110. You bet 100 to win 110. And the Dodgers are 120. You bet 100 to win 120.
That means they're favored. So the Dodgers but both are favored. Like that doesn't.
All right, I'm looking at the official line right now. You have the Dodgers plus 1.5 in the run line. Yankees minus 1.5.
So the Yankees are favored.
And the newest line updated right now. That's probably why it was. They were changing the line. Okay, the latest line update is the Yankees minus 125, Dodgers plus 107.
Okay.
So if you bet 100, you win 207 if the Dodgers win. If you bet 100 with the Yankees, you win 125. When you bet 125 to win 100,
125 to win 100. Okay, yeah. All right, so the Yankees
the over
are
is
favored.
9. Over under is 9. So I like the Yankees in the money line.
They say the Yankees favored. We'll see.
I like the Yankees in the money line. If I had to do something else, I might say the under. But I rather the Yankees in the money line tonight for sure.
That would be a good game.
It's gonna be a good game tonight.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's good stuff.
It would have been good to see him against Yamamoto, but that'll come another time.
That'd be a crazy game. Low scoring for sure, right?
Well, good stuff, Pearly. Have a great weekend. Enjoy. MJ, we up out of here. And Pearly, I see you in short order, man. We'll powwow. We'll parlay the parlay. And okay. Like I said, have a great weekend. Yankees and Dodgers tonight. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I just want to tell you something, MJ. I have absolutely loved this first week home from Joker's Wild. It's like, what is that place? What are you talking about? What?
No. Let's ask you that. Let's ask you that around the 15th of June.
Ask me that.
I'm gonna
around the 15th of June.
The 15th of June.
My life too has changed.
In the 15th of June.
We just play it. Just giving it some time.
Now, if you ask me, between September and February, I can somebody tell you no, I don't miss the Rockets. I watching every football game, even the West Coast college ones that start at 2 a.m.
For sure.
What? Anyhow, you all have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Friday, have a great weekend. 242, be good. We'll see you Monday.
Take time.
Them call me the raving king. Touch a small girl, show me love, and I tell me my sweet like for Jim say party shot like one STD. Girl, them a wine for me, yeah. How we have the style with them love them watch we like MTV. The girl them say yeah, them favorite car. And I wine, them favorite bar. I know, I wonder if me have the steering lock. I fi tell you the truth, me tell her wine and Jamie a lot. We clocks them real, you know we no like.
Crunch your hunger cravings and satisfy the whole family with KFC bucket meals starting at just $20. Get freshly prepared golden fried chicken, buttery biscuits, and add your favorite large sides for flavor that will make your mouth happy and your feet dance. Order online or WhatsApp hi to 557-3663 to grab your KFC bucket today. Big flavor, bigger finger licking good.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
Time again from the island that gives you mince mutton, okra soup, and of course flour cake and rake and scrape. It's the 26th annual Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival in beautiful Artistown, Cat Island. June 6th through 8th, we have acts such as Veronica Bishop,
He come here with the hands swinging.
Gino D, Stelito, Cupid, and of course our very own down-home guys like Lacido and the Boys,
I don't like no rigging and scraping in here.
Ophi and the websites, and
like
much more in beautiful Artistown, Cat Island. June 6th through 8th. See you there.
If you set people's teeth on edge every time you step on the brakes, it's time you visit Muffler World on Mackey Street. They can take your brake rotors off, and if there's anything left, machine them shiny. Then their technicians will install new pads and before without people calling social service on you. Muffler World can replace the whole package, including hoses, master cylinders, and more. For first-class brake work, stop by Muffler World on Mackey Street. Open Saturdays 8 till noon.
Calling all beer lovers. Get ready for Portside Pints. Join us on Saturday, June the 21st from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Nassau Cruise Port to sample beers from all around the world with live music and amazing Bahamian food. $10 general admission includes a free Portside Pints beer mug, or take it up a notch and check out our exclusive VIP lounge. That's the Portside Pints Beer Festival, June 21st at Nassau Cruise Port. Don't miss it. Visit Facebook or Instagram for details.